Welcome to the mobile home movement, where we showcase the beauty and affordability of mobile homes. Here we break false myths and share all the positive stories of how mobile home ownership transforms lives. I'm Franco Perez, and this is the mobile home movement.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mobile Home Movement. My name is Tong, and I'll be your host for today. And of course, from the last episode, as you guys heard of, we ended off with what it's like to upgrade a mobile home and why do people choose to upgrade a mobile home. But today, we're going to go into more detail of what the process looks like in terms of upgrading your mobile home, so that whether if you're a homeowner or if you're a potential buyer who's looking into a mobile home, how you could advance your mobile home. Jumping into it, Franco, I want to ask you, what are some misconceptions about upgrading a mobile home, or when people ask about mobile home renovation?
I guess, the first thing is really understanding, should I renovate or should I upgrade my mobile home, right? And that's a very sensitive topic. And the answer is it depends. The answer is it depends on many things. What are your finance? What's your current financial situation? How much money you have in the account? Are you capable of getting a loan to be able to upgrade instead of renovate? I always urge people, I guess in the majority, the best scenario to do is to convert your old home to a new home. And the upgrade model is really what's going to be the best win overall in the long term and in the end when you plan to sell your home. But if you are not financially capable of doing that, which some might not be, then we have a lot of people that their only option really is to remodel or renovate. Which the flaws of it is, the home itself is still going to be a 1970s home. It's still going to be an old home. It's going to be harder to finance. The plumbing's still going to be 1970s standard. The fire safety is still going to be the old fire safety standard, which is very low back then. The roof is still in bad condition. But it's, the answer in the end is it depends. So there's no universal answer. But if you are capable and if you are able to make sense of it, to convert your old home to a new one, that's definitely the route to have multiple wins, because you have brand new plumbing, you have brand new electrical, you have very, very high fire safety standards, very high energy efficiency, which means you pay less for electricity, you pay less for heating and air conditioning, and you have a new roof and everything's new with a warranty that comes with it as well. So the answer is it depends. And that's why we have our whole process of being able to identify whether or not it's good for you to upgrade now or to remodel. And we help people understand the real numbers, the value. How much do you spend versus how much you gain? Is it a great investment or a bad investment? How long do you plan on staying in this home? All of these things matter when it comes to making a decision to remodel or to upgrade.
Right. Yeah, and definitely you touch on a lot of great points on really seeing the condition and what are things that the owner themselves want to improve. But one question that I guess majority of the people have, it's who doesn't want a new home? Who doesn't want a upgraded version of their home, right? But what are some, I guess, financing options, or how would that financing part look like for someone who does want to get, let's say, their home upgraded?
What does the financials look like when they want to get it upgraded?
Right. Is it possible that they get a loan? Is that something that they could apply for?
Oh, absolutely.
Do they all cash? Could they, do a few payments with some loan or something?
Yeah. Great question, Tong. With that question, I guess first is understanding the remodel and why people remodel. They typically it's very attractive to just fix a few things up on your home, because that's where, media, HGTV, all that type of thing. I want to change my countertops. I want to add tile to my backsplash. I want to do this and that. And they're very easy, small cost fixes. $100 here, $1,000 here, $5,000 here for countertops, that type of thing. And they're very easy decisions. Now, what we don't realize is that these things add up. You could spend 5,000 on counters, you could spend 7,000 on floors, you can spend a few $100s here and there. But then if you're still stuck with the old home, there's still going to be maintenance upgrades that you're going to do later down the line. And with these situations, almost always it has to be cash up front from your savings,
Hmm.
from a credit card, from that type of thing, right? Now, if we look at the alternative where it's an upgrade, if you're upgrading an old home to a new home, what people
Right.
don't realize is that there are a ton of financing options. So with that, you can spread these payments throughout 25 years. You don't always need a down payment. You can actually do like 5% down, um, and that type of thing. But with that, hey, instead of spending $10,000 for an upgrade for a temporary, I call it a Band-Aid fix of an old home. Instead of doing that, you can use that as a down payment to start converting your old home to a new one, right? And with that, you'll have a new home. There's not going to be a ton of maintenance issues because the standards are much higher in construction now than back then. And then also, you're paying it on a mortgage. You're paying it slowly on a mortgage. That's something comfortable to what your current payment is. But the key thing is what you're spending, even though you are spending on a mortgage, it's going to be heavier than what your current monthly payment is already. Yes, but your future self will thank you so much later because 5 years down the line, whatever it is, 5, 7, 10 years down the line, or even if it's 2 years down the line, you can sell your home for much higher than what you would be able to sell your old home back then. And that's the key thing that people have to understand, is that oftentimes you're spending, yes, you are spending, but if you're going to get that money back when you sell, you might as well make that purchase now, live in a beautiful, better lifestyle home, and you have a win at the end when you sell for more down the line versus selling an old home and getting hundreds of $1,000s less than what new homes are selling for later.
Right. Wow. No, that was definitely, super detailed on that. Yeah, especially I guess when it comes to finances, that's someone's, their main concern. But let's say after that financing part and consideration of that, maybe touching a little bit on like what does that process look like of upgrading, how long it would take, what was that waiting process like, or even with some examples from the past that you've experienced or you've helped out with families on upgrading. Can you share a
Yeah.
little bit about that? Yeah.
Yeah. So recently, we have a family that lives in South San Jose, actually in Silver Creek Mobile Home Park. They had a ton of issues with their park. Park do regular maintenance, and we always see this happen here and there. They'll come in once every 2 years or sometime once a year and point at several different issues. You need to repaint your home. You need to fix your porch. You need to fix your steps, your railing, your roof, your skirting. A lot of these things deteriorate over time, especially on the 70s homes. You have cats that go under the home. You have dry rot on your porch, that type of thing, right? So this client went to me is actually in the beginning coming to say, hey, do you have people that can fix this? Do the dry rot, do the skirting. We need a repaint. They had a whole list that the park needed them to fix. But with that, we came to realize that we were going to spend about $13,000 in total in repairs after searching for several different vendors. And then we also realized that, hey, you have a large lot. You have a giant porch on the left side of your home. You have a yard, a big yard where we can expand your home on the left side. How about we evaluate and take a look at what it would be like converting your old 1970s homes to a new home? And that's exactly what we did. Their current square footage is about 950 square feet. After we did our evaluation, we came to the conclusion that it would cost about $250,000 to convert his old home to a new one. However, he's going to be able to have a 1,600 square foot home, and he can turn his 2-bedroom home now to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with the large, beautiful, great room in the front with a beautiful kitchen, everything brand new. The plumbing, electrical, the roof, and the drywalls, and the insulation. The insulation was a big thing for him because he was getting very hot in the summers and very cold in the winters. And this is going to be a big lifestyle change for him. Okay, now we realize that 250 is kind of a big number, but during that evaluation, not only did we realize he can go from 950 to 1600 square feet, but we realized that his current home value today as an old home
Mm-hmm.
would run for about $200,000 if he chose to sell it, right? But a new home in that park, a 2024 home in that park, would actually go for about $430,000, right?
Oh,
So by spending 250, he then knows that he has an asset that he can sell for $430,000 now.
mm-hmm.
He could sell it right after he completes the upgrade of his home and be profitable. Or he can live in it for 3-4 years and be profitable then. So why not do the upgrade instead? We already know that it makes sense in a cash situation, but it makes even more sense in a finance situation, because instead of him spending $13,000 on all the upgrades just to maintain his old home, he can now use that as his down payment. And we already set him up with financing, and the financing is spread throughout 25 years. And I can't remember his down payment, but I know his mortgage was about $2,000 a month, right? His mortgage was around there. And then with that, yes, he's paying a mortgage on top of his space rent, but he knows that in the long run, it's a great investment because he's going to be profitable in the end, and he's going to be much more profitable when he sells his home to a future owner.
Mm-hmm.
That plus an added value add is that he gets to live in a beautiful, sexy living home, right? Larger square footage, more bedrooms for his kids that's growing up, great insulation, less on the energy bill, and a better lifestyle. And he's very big on parties too. He wants to be able to host for his family events and that type of thing. So it's a big lifestyle change for him.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I could even imagine, going through a new home and, with the nice new flooring and also appliances as well in it, especially now, like there's a lot of, what do you call it? Like the island in, a mobile home, like the kitchen, like that is really attractive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess going into the details, just of, I guess, quick question is that, in the process of, let's say, designing or like they're having their new home come in, like, is it of their choice of how the layout of the home looks like? Do they get to be included in this process, or, yeah, what does that look like?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's one of their favorite things is being able to choose out during, the different floor plans they want. What's important to them? Do they want a fancy kitchen because they love cooking? Do they want a larger master bedroom with a beautiful bathroom? They definitely get to choose those out, and they get to choose the colors, the porch size, the bedroom size, if they want to create a bedroom or a studio or an office. We have a client that wanted a music room with extra insulation. We had a client that wanted a very nice office with a view to be able to work from. These are things that can all be done during the design process.
Wow. Wow. I never knew that, because I always thought that, it might be the same layout or something, but, they actually get to choose of what fits their lifestyle, right? And I guess on top of that as well, like, going back to the finances part, let's say when a new home is being put into the lot, would that have a change in their rent? I know Sunnyvale has this rent thing at the parks where, like, if a new buyer comes in, there's like a 14-15% rent increase, but what does it look like for, let's say, when a new mobile home, is put into a lot? Will it be like the same case where there would be like a rent increase for the owners themselves?
Yeah, great question. The answer is it is kind of different in many different counties. So I know this is a national podcast, but it's going to be different. But the the overarching thing is that these parks actually encourage new homes. They love having new homes in their communities. So in San Jose, rent cannot be increased to a resident that looks to convert their old home to a new one. So rent stays the same. And the same goes for a Sunnyvale, for many Sunnyvale parks as well. But I can't say that this is a guaranteed thing and universal to every different city, or it can change by the county per month. But right now, it's very easy, and your rent will stay the same.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And another question is that some people might have is that, because mobile homes, we don't often see garage units. So let's say if they choose to upgrade their mobile home, are they able to have a garage unit installed?
Good question. I definitely tell residents or buyers that don't get your hopes up for a garage unit. It's kind of an old thing in the past. If there is, the only time that you'll really get to have a garage unit is if it's already been built before. So if you're living in a home that has an old home that has a garage unit, then we can convert your home from old to new and be grandfathered into keeping that garage. But you can't really convert your carport to a garage unit, and that's the most common question.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because I've been going to the open houses and I have a lot of people coming in saying that, hey, this home is super attractive. I really love the garage unit. It doesn't look like just like a mobile home with a carport, but on the outside of it looks like, an actual home, and they really liked it. But I told them that it's like actually, if this home was to upgrade or something, then, and if the if the owner themselves decide to, let's say, take it down, then, it wouldn't be here. And if it's a home that doesn't have a carport, then we aren't able to install one either because it's like a regulation
Yeah.
from the county there and all that. Nice. Gotcha. But yeah, I guess wrapping up, with mobile home upgrades, and that, what other, I guess, tips or what you would give to owners who are looking to upgrade, and on that. Yeah.
I guess, first is realizing it's not too intimidating or crazy to just take the first step in evaluating what the scenario of your home is right now. Before considering any major repairs, before even maintaining your home, take a second to think, should I just get a free evaluation of understanding what my home is worth and what it would be to convert an old one to new? Because that's something we actually do, and we love doing it because it helps us make more studies and evaluations for each parks. Plus, it helps the resident be more informed. So I think that taking the first step of gathering that information and getting educated on if this is a good option for them or not, that's the most important thing for many residents. So I definitely urge people to understand what they can do with their old home before putting too much money into that.
Right. Yeah, especially, it's definitely another investment that they make to, enhance their lifestyle. Right. And thank you so much, Franco, for being on, the podcast today as a guest and answering these questions, Q&As that some owners had, when, going through analysis of upgrading their mobile home. But with that, we'll wrap up for this episode today. Don't miss our next episode. See ya.
Take care, guys.